Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to yet another live session on Inside IM's CAT Day Live. So now that we're done with CAT, and we have analyzed in the last session, we analyzed the three slots in CAT 2022. Now is the time for us to move ahead and start preparing for OMETs, right? So we have lots of exams lined up. We have IIFT, SNAP, MyCat, TISNET, ZAT, etc., all coming up in the next few weeks. So, to give you a perspective on how to start your preparation for the OMETs and how the preparation is different from that of CAT, we have with us students from SIBM Pune, XLRI Jamshedpur, and IIFT Delhi. They have all secured 99 plus percentiles in their respective entrance exams, and they will be here to answer your questions and to share their insights on the preparation for their respective entrance exams. So, good evening, Agnip, Kashish, and Satkirat. Thank you so much for doing this. Looking forward to the conversation.
Hey Divine, good evening. Very
Hi
happy.
Deben, good evening.
Hi.
Thank you so much, Divine.
Yeah. So, may I request you all to just give our viewers a introduction about yourself? I mean, let's start on with an alphabetical order. So, Agnip, followed by Kashish, and then Satkirat.
Sure, cool. So hi everybody. Hey Divine, good evening. Agnip Dasgupta. I'm from Kolkata, West Bengal. Done my BTech in IT, post which I have worked for about 2 years as a data engineer. Then I decided to broaden my avenues and started preparing for entrance exams. Scored a 99.26 in SNAP, and I'm currently in the second year pursuing my MBA in marketing from SIBM Pune.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Kashish.
Hi everyone. I'm Kashish. I am from Ambala, Haryana. I have done my BBA from Christ University, post which I worked for 2 years with ExxonMobil and Urban Company. After that, I joined XLRI Jamshedpur, secured 99.13 percentile in that, and I am currently in my second year pursuing specialization in marketing and strategy.
Awesome.
Looking forward to this session.
Awesome. Satkirat, why don't you give us an introduction about yourself?
Hi everyone, I am Satkirat Singh. I belong to Ahmedabad, Gujarat. I have done my BTech in Mechanical Engineering from Nirma University, Ahmedabad, post which I worked for 2 years with ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel in B2B sales. And after that, I'm pursuing MBA in International Business. I scored a 99.43 in the IIFT exam, and I'm in my first year currently.
Great. Great. Okay. Thank you. Great to have you all in this conversation. So let's start off, right? So last year on 28th of November, you all had written CAT. And what what were you feeling around this time last year? I mean, there are 2 lakh people who wrote CAT this today in the three slots. So how were you feeling this time last year after your CAT exam?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
With that, yeah. So when I gave the day was okay. So after it got over, first things that I think for first thing that I did was compared like different days. You know, the list that comes out, the score calculator, and the reviews about the different days. So trying to figure out how I fared, because at the end of the day, it's a percentile game, right? It's a competitive game. So it's very difficult to understand how you fared. But again, I also realized that I wanted to concentrate on the other exams as well. I could not put all my eggs in one basket and rely entirely on CAT. So yeah, was looking forward to it, but at that very moment I remember trying to calculate where I stood.
I'll go next. For me, it was not last year. It was 2 years back because currently I'm in second year, and it was more or less on the same lines with Agnip, and I think that holds true for a large section when the first instance is to go and check the scores and calculate, and a mixed feeling because that was the first time that CAT was for 2 years. Was a 2 hour exam and not the 3 hour exam. So there was a lot of mixed feelings. Somewhere I felt that I did great, but there were things that I knew that went wrong. Took me a couple of days to get through that, the excitement, the nervousness, the anxiety, and then yeah, focused on the other exams that were coming. Prepared for that.
Great. Great. What's
So, So as Agnip and Kashish said, this is the time that there is a lot of nervousness in the air. For me, it was the same mixed emotions. Some of the people around you are happy, most are stressed. I was the one among the stressed ones. But then, yeah, similarly, you check scores, you know where you goofed up, where you did well. But I knew I couldn't be content. I had to prepare for the rest of the exams, OMETs. So I get up for IIFT and then I did well there.
Great. So now that we're talking about OMET, so how did you start your preparation for OMET? I mean, for let's take one exam at a time, right? Let's start off with IIFT. So can you please explain to the viewers how the structure and paper for IIFT is different from that of CAT? And then how did you prepare for IIFT?
Yeah. So for IIFT, what I'll say, I'll compare the section wise with CAT. So if I go with quant is a bit on the easier side than CAT. So if you've done pretty decent in CAT, you are good to go in IIFT. If you talk about DILR, then DILR sets are easy, but they are on the lengthier side. It takes time and they are very calculative. So you have to be patient to crack these sets. Talking about VARCs, RCs in IIFT exams are also lengthy as compared to CAT. A typical RC here takes around 8 to 10 minutes for you to completely solve it. The rest of the grammar portion is easy and it is doable. You give 2-3 mocks and you're good to go. But the main criteria that matters here is the GK section. So for IIFT, I'll say that you have to be thorough with current affairs and you have to be well prepared for the GK section. I've seen people who score 99 percentile overall, but they couldn't clear the GK sectional. So that is, you have this 1 week, 10 days, whatever before IIFT. So what I'll suggest to people is that you work on your GK, you work on current affairs, and you work on the mistakes that you've done in CAT. That's what I'll say.
Okay, thank you. So next, let's go for snaps, Agnip.
Yeah. So Snap as an exam is very different compared to CAT, right? The question length, it becomes much smaller. The difficulty becomes much easier. It's not that difficult as CAT, right? But what is crucial in Snap is your accuracy, because you have very little time, right? You have only 60 minutes for the 60 questions. So it all boils down to your accuracy with which you solve the questions, because that's what's going to get you a higher percentile there. So for preparing for Snap, what I primarily did was, I already was confident about how I was doing my quants, DILR, and verbal, but I tried to time myself and tried to restrict the amount of time I was spending on each question so that I could utilize that. And obviously, I kept a check on accuracy, because I knew that was what will, make the change in Snap. So yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Kashish? How did you prepare for that, and how is it different from CAT?
Sure. So I think there's one myth which people have, that ZAT is tougher than CAT or it is the toughest paper. That's not at all true. At least that is what I felt. And there's a simple reason for that. I believe there are three kind of people who have given CAT. One who are good at verbal, not good at quant. Others who are good at quant, not good at verbal. And there are third people who are good at both. That's, I think, great to have. And that is where ZAT helps you in. There are two fundamental difference in ZAT. One is an addition of a new section, that is decision making, and there's no sectional time limit. So for all the category of people, the decision making section helps you a lot, because you need to be in any exam good at two sections, and the third one, even if you just clear the cutoff, you are good to go. So even if you're good at one section and you take care of decision making section, then you are good to go. What I did was, for decision making, I solved a lot of mocks. All the mocks I solved till for the last 15 years, all the decision making, and it became second nature. It became very intuitive for me to solve decision making. Plus, I was good at quant. I made sure that I maximize my score in these two sections and clear the cutoff in verbal. And that helped me a lot, and that's how I went.
Okay, great, great. So everyone, on that note, I'd just like to do a small plug. So students from SIBM Pune, XLRI Jamshedpur, and IIFT Delhi, they're all hosting closed sessions in association with Inside IM to help aspirants is IFT, Snap, and ZAT, right? It's free of cost. All you need to do is register for that event. It's going to be free closed sessions where Kashish, Agnip, Satkirat, and other people from IFT, Excel, and SIBM Pune will be taking the sessions and taking you through the do's and don'ts of the exam and I'm so sorry, do's and don'ts of the exam, and followed by and all the sessions will be followed by detailed Q&A, right? I request you to check the description, the link in description, or you'll find the link in the comment section. Please register for that, and you'll hear from our team very soon for that. And again, thank you so much, Agnip, Kashish, and Satkirat for partnering with us on this initiative. Always happy to partner when it comes to helping the inside and aspirant community. Yeah. So moving forward, so right now, what would be your advice to people? I mean, what would be your advice to people जिन्होंने आज CAT लिखा है उनको? What would be your advice? There are two types, obviously, मतलब जिनका अच्छा गया, जिनका अच्छा नहीं गया. So what would be your advice to them?
So I'll go first here.
Yeah.
I think for me, what I've always thought is, what is the harm of not doing it, right? There are exams coming, Snap, IFT, there are a lot of exams coming. I always look at the trade-off. Um, if I don't give, is there anything that I'm losing? And there must be something that I'll learn or gain from it. And of course, you think sometimes that you have done well, or you think sometimes that you have done poorly, but the results turn out to be sometimes very different. So it's always good to be prepared and, make sure that you have diversified your risk. And yeah, that's the only advice I have for all the people who have given that. Of course, wishing them all the best for the results as well. But yeah, should always look forward to a lot of exams, and then if nothing else, it helps you with your PI and VAT for the other exams, which you for the other colleges which you might be aiming to.
Okay. Interesting.
I'll go next.
Yeah. So good.
So for me, I'm a person who likes to have backups in place. I like to see the negative side also. So I had this thing in mind that even if I've done decent in CAT, I'll be going and I'll not be content and I'll give the rest of the exams. So that is what I'll suggest to people here. For the ones who've done pretty well in CAT, I request you to not be overconfident and goof up the rest of the exams. You never know how these things, the VAT PI interviews, they might turn out. So you should always have backups in place. There's no, as Kashish said, there's no harm in having backups. While for those who aren't happy with the CAT performance, trust me, you don't have to worry. There is a lot that is yet to come. You just have to gear up, not lose hope, and give your 200% in these OMETs. They will take you to some of the amazing business schools in the country. That is all I have to say.
I'll just add to it. Nothing different, to be honest, but like, yeah. So the exam that you're writing is just the first stage. Remember, to get into any B school, there's a second very crucial stage, that the interview stage. All right. No matter what your percentile is going to be in CAT, if you've done well, my heartiest congratulations to you. But don't rely on just your percentile to sail into a B school. You will need to clear the interview process. And since you have that kicker at the end, right, you need the interview process, you might as well, like Satkirat said, might as well keep backups, right? Keep as many options as possible, apply for all of them well. And for those who are worried about how their CAT went, please do not be disheartened. This is not the time. It is very crucial to keep your morale high because you have quite a few exams lined up in a very short span of time. All right. So it is very crucial that you stay motivated and prepare harder for those. And one more thing that Satkir had pointed out before, figure out where you went wrong in this particular exam so that you don't repeat that mistake again. That's all.
Okay. So to summarize, if you think that your CAT didn't go that well, please understand where you have gone wrong so that you don't repeat the same mistake in the upcoming exams. Even if your CAT has gone well, just don't let the ball drop, right? After months of hard work, December, January hai, aram se you prepare. And because at the end, as Agnip and Satkar both said, that VAT PI is the percentile is just the battle half won, right? Then you have your VAT PI round and you'll be competing with some of the brightest minds in the country. So just don't depend just on CAT. You have the OMETs, prepare well for them. And as Kashish said, there's no trade-off. There's no harm in appearing for the exams, right? So, okay, thank you. Thank you for the answers, guys. So let's move on to the next question. So there's a question from the audience. Nitish Kumar, sir, slot 20 questions correct out of 23 kitne percentile. Nitish, this is not the session for that. We will have a different session. We have a session with career launcher at 11 tonight. If you are interested, please join that session. We'll take up that question over there. Okay. So we have now let's talk about how do you prepare. I mean, we have spoken about, sorry, we have spoken about how do you prepare, from where to prepare, what are the resources that are available, right? So for your respective exams, can you just one by one help us? From where should we prepare for these exams?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
So Kashish had already mentioned, go through past years papers, whatever you can find. Okay, wherever you can find past years papers, those will be the most crucial. Past years questions will be your key benchmark to understand what kind of questions are going to come in. Other than that, give any mocks that you can. Okay, mocks are very helpful because they have the time bound aspect to it, and that is going to put you in the exam setting. So give as many mocks as you can. Now you already must be having an idea about how to analyze them. So my suggestion would be, do not start any new material. You've already given CAT, especially keeping SNAP in mind. Yeah, the questions are slightly different, but they are doable. Like questions like blood relations come a lot, directional based questions come a lot, but these are doable questions. Concentrate more on solving more, like more mocks, past years papers. That would be first.
Okay. Okay.
I'll go next.
Yeah, please.
So for IIFT, what I'll say is that keeping your calm is the only resource that is left now. You have given your 100% till now, and I think mocks are one resource, but apart from that, you need to be calm and composed. And trust me, being calm and composed is the key to crack these exams. Just go through the concept once, stay focused, and you're good to go.
Great. Okay.
For that, I think, yeah, again, past year mocks are good enough. One advice is for decision making. A lot of institutes come up with their mocks. It's good to give them, but at least I did not rely too much on the questions that they made for decision making because it is very subjective. And sometimes the solutions that I also saw was very different from institute to institute for the past year mocks. So it's for the decision making section, I would just suggest that go with the mocks, the last papers, and restrict yourself to that. Don't confuse yourself a lot. Secondly, there are two additional sections which are GK and essay writing, which is not a part of the percentile calculation but is used in your VAT and PI. So for that, you can obviously look at the past papers, read the newspaper, keep yourself updated with the current news, and it should be enough. For the other two, verbal and quant, any other material that you have been preparing with is good enough.
Devian, one more point I'll add. What I'll say is that learn from your mistakes in CAT. Ensure that you don't repeat them. Scoring a 120, 130 plus in IIFT is really not that difficult. You just need to be confident, not make silly mistakes, and you're good to go.
Great. So we have a few questions. So Ganesh Singh has a question for you, Satkirat. Bhaiya, how to cover GK for IIFT? I mean, this itne kam time mein, how do you cover such a vast thing like GK? So Satkirat, any shortcut, any resources you refer to?
For GK is that all coaching centers have their compendiums. So what I'll suggest is that you can go through those compendiums. There are monthly compendiums also. So you can go to the compendiums of the past 1 year, past 6 months, and you'll be fine.
Okay. And the cutoff for IIFT GK has always been very low, right? You have to, if you have a 100% accuracy,
yeah, if
the third of the GK questions if you attempt, then also you're good to go, right?
Correct. You're good to go.
Awesome. Ganesh, I hope that answers your question. So Sejal has a question for you, Agnip. Where can we find past year papers for SNAP?
Yes, past year's papers. I'm not really aware, but should be third-party websites. You should be finding them on third-party websites.
Okay. Sejal, you will find the Snap mock tests, Snap actual test questions on Inside IM's mock test platform. So I think the questions are there from the time, I think before the time it became online. So I think before 2017, 2016, or I think before the entire exam went online, you will find those questions on Inside IM's platform. Why don't you visit the website once? Arti has a very interesting question: how to use mocks when you have Snap, then IIFT, and again Snap, and then ZAT? Then I am open to all three of you. Please answer.
Is it okay if I go first?
Yeah, please.
All right. So, Aarti, this is where you have to show your caliber as a potential B school candidate. You will have to, divide your day, compartmentalize how you want to figure out, compartmentalize your task, prioritize them. All right. So obviously you cannot just rely on one mock, right? Okay, you cannot be like till snap, I'm going to give snap mocks, and the little gap that I'll give IFT mocks. I would suggest give them in different slots. And at the end of the day, you're doing the similar solutions, right? At the end of the day, you're solving similar type of questions. So compartmentalize your day, prioritize which is coming first, how much time you want to allot to it. But my own personal suggestion would be that do not rely entirely on one same series of mock till you have that exam.
Great. In the next question, Kashish and Satkirat, do you want to add anything to what Agnip has said?
Yeah, to add to Agnip's question, what I'll say is that you can also club two mocks in a day. Like Snap is a 1 hour mock. So along with that, you can give an IIFT mock that is a 2 hour, one in the morning, one in the evening. But more importantly than giving a mock is that you analyze that mock properly. So the analyzing part is also very important. You need to see where you went wrong, what was your thought process while solving that question. So you need to make sure that you're doing that too.
Kashish?
No, I think they have summed it up properly. There's nothing else.
Okay. Okay. So the next two questions are again for Agnip. So Adarsh is asking, how is SIBM Pune for HR? So Agnip, if you don't want to answer this, that's fine. Adarsh, you can check the placement report. If you want to answer, please go ahead.
Sure. So definitely the placement aspect, others I would ask you to check out the report. All right. But there are other aspects that I'll definitely slightly touch upon. The faculty here for HR is truly really good. They have industry professionals coming in. All right. Along with that, the opportunities that we get in terms of case competitions and the corporate sessions that are happening are also really brilliant. So if you go to our social media handles, you'll find the kind of competition that we're engaging in and the kind of corporates that we're engaging. And that truly makes the HR course here really at par with most of the country.
Okay. So Sejal has another question. Does being a fresher affect the selection process at SIBM?
No, not at all. The SIBM selection process does not depend on your profile.
So on that note, Kashish and Satkirat, why don't you give our viewers this thing an insider view about on life at Excel and course at Excel and IIFT. So I mean, I think I'm pretty sure they'll be excited to know because they're appearing for the exams. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I think one thing which is common across B schools is that it is going to be hectic. I think there's no two way around it. You have to be prepared for sleepless nights. Um, Other than that, I think the culture, Excel culture, what we speak about here, there's a three batch culture that you know your seniors, you know your juniors, and that three batch bond is very strong in Excel. A lot of assignments, days full of assignments, case competition, placement activities, lectures. Uh, Apart from this, I think this is common across all B schools. But apart from this, what is really different at Excel is the campus experience that you get. It's a lush green campus, though the city is not very popular, but one does not feel the need to go out of the city, and the campus serves the purpose. So whatever you want to do, you get inside the campus, and it's a great experience.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
So life at MBA, as Kashish said, is pretty hectic. You're gonna be going with days with where you've not slept, nights you've not slept. But one thing about IIFT is that it is a small, cozy campus in the heart of Delhi. In South Delhi, it is there, and life here is pretty chill. Either you will be, it is at the ends of the stick. Either you will be working all day, all night long, or either you will be chilling, you will be partying all night long. So once you're done with the placements, the first trimester is pretty hectic. Once you're done with that, your academics are okay, but you have to do case comms, you'll do clubbing. Life is fun.
Okay. Okay. Okay, another question from Meenakshi Joshi. Year gap affect selection process at Excel, Symbiosis, IFT?
I think every college has certain criteria for work ex and academics, all of those criteria. But there are a lot of people that I know have come with year gap, and in fact, not even 3 to 4 years of gap. So that's not really a criteria, and that is not a roadblock that you will face to get admitted, at least in XLRI. Need for Simbi and
Yeah, I think I remember Kashish one story from your batch. I think XLRI class of 23 HR, 4 years gap because of preparing for IS exam, UPSC exams, right? So
yeah, there are a lot of cases like that. People who it's just that they see what have you done in that 1 year. You should not have wasted your time. If you have done something productive, it's okay that you failed in doing that. But if the learnings are great and you can implement them or you can incorporate them in your MBA life and post MBA life, then I think any college will be happy to have you.
I'm sorry, Agnip and Satkirat, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, same is the case here at IIFT. If you're able to justify that gap, you've done something productive, then there won't be any problem. Obviously, you have to compensate it with your percentile, but that really doesn't matter that much.
Very similar at SIBM as well. You just have to ensure that the year was not a wasted year. You've actually utilized it, and it all boils down to how you have actually, what you've done in that year.
Great. Great. Okay. And sorry, Meenakshi, I hope that answers your question. And yeah. So yeah. Any last advice, any advice that you would like to give to the students? I mean, before that also, or I don't know. Oh, yeah, some question. I don't know. Yeah. So I'd like to know from all of you, why would you think that someone will register for this closed session initiative that we're doing? So why would an aspirant register for that? So what exactly are you bringing to the table? Agnip, आप क्या sessions करा रहे हो? Kashish, आप क्या करा रहे हो? IFT से Satkirat, what is taking place in those sessions? If you can give the viewers a you know glimpse of that, what all will you be teaching them? What the sessions will entail? I think that would really help them.
I'll go ahead. So, for that, as I said, there are two major differences in the exam for the first three sections. One is that there's no time limit in the sessions and sorry, the sections, and there's a new section which is decision making. So I think that is where a lot of people face an issue with that section. Decision making scares a lot of people when actually it's one of the easiest section of the paper, right? So what we will be doing in those sessions is we'll be going through the mocks or the last 15 years papers and solving it live, the decision making section, 1 hour session for live solving and how we actually approach those questions. That gives a lot of clarity on what are the things that you need to keep in mind while selecting or eliminating an option, and what are the things that you should definitely be aware of when and which you should definitely avoid, right? So that gives you a perspective of how to solve that section. Second is, how do you go about with the paper as a whole? How do you divide your time amongst three sections? Because a lot of people get good percentile in two sections but fail to get the clear the cutoff in one of the sections. So it is important to divide your time because there's no restriction given by the exam. So how you divide that time and how you approach the exam. So these are the two major things that we'll be covering, because verbal and quant is something that people have already studied. So that's something we assume that people will be doing.
What about you, Agnip?
Yeah. So for us, we've got a diverse array of students who'll be taking workshops. The idea being that during preparation there are different kind of commitments that different people have. Like for somebody who's a fresher who has a very different kind of commitment, different commitments compared to somebody who is working. So we want to give you a 360-degree view about preparation. Along with that, primarily, like Kashish is going to be concentrating on that and what's different. We are going to be talking about how Snap is different, how you can still capitalize on Snap, what to utilize from your CAT preparation journey, and maximize that in your Snap exams. And yeah, like again, repeating Kashish's point, Snap also you do not have a time bound. There's time bound section, right? So you can move from any section you want to any section. So again, what helped different individuals, how they prioritized different sections, what how they went about it. So more or less around this.
Amazing, amazing. Satkirat?
Yeah, similar is the case with us. We'll be taking them through 3 to 4 past year mocks. We'll be able to tell them how to divide time, how to manage time. As here also in IFT, there's no sectional limit. So how to just clear the GK section, devote that time to the other sections, and that's all we'll do. Other thing we'll be doing is that these 20 days, how to prioritize your time. People have other exams coming too. So how much time to devote for IFT? How much time is enough to score a decent score and to clear IFT Delhi?
Yeah. So everyone watching this video or this live session, please check the link in description. It's called free closed sessions to help you as IFT, Snap, and ZAT. Click on the link and register. It's free of cost. We're not charging anything from the student community. We're just trying to help you out with your exams, right? And thank you once again, everyone, for doing this session with us. And one question, Anirudh has a question. Does low academic profile affect the process at all three? I mean, by all three, he means Excel, IFT, and Symbiosis Pune.
Yeah.
Good. Yes.
So
Again,
for,
I think. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Kashish and Agni. So I'll go ahead. For IFT, yeah, academics matter a bit. But then again, the thing is, last year there was this composite score that IFT had considered 27 and 73. This time the criteria is a bit different. But what I'll say is that right now you don't need to think about that. Focus on getting a good percentile, and then we'll wait for the call. We'll see what happens.
Great.
Okay. Again, for XLRI, again for all the colleges, they have weightages for different criterias, that is academics, and it's there is a weightage for academics, but it is not impossible to get in with low academics. In fact, there are a lot of people that I know in XLRI who have low acads and are here, and in fact gone to great companies for their summer internship also. So academics is a thing of past, and let's leave it behind. Let's focus on something that's in your control and that you can actually, work for.
And for SIBM Pune, like I've already clarified, the academic profile does not have a value. It's your Snap score, and the composite score will just have your Snap score and your G by what score.
Okay. So I think one last question. Shobhagya Ranjan Swain, does having a diverse background such as law affect your admission chances? No, I think it actually makes your chances even better, I guess. Right? So diverse, you get the academic diversity points. So anyone, if you want to take this question?
Yeah, I think perfectly said by you. It affects you in a positive way. I don't think in any way it impacts or makes you not a good candidate for the B school. B schools love diversity. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Kashish, Agnip, and Satkar. Thank you for joining in for the session. And thank you for everyone watching this session. Hope you could add some value. And one last plug from my end, do register for the closed sessions initiative that we're doing. We'll see you in the closed sessions, and I hope that we can all help you make it to your dream B school this year. Thank you, and we'll see you. I'll see you in all another 25 minutes for the VAT PI. How to on the session will be on how to prepare for VAT PI, and I'll see you at 9:30. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.